get your fix.
Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix?
With the Wicks here on this beautiful May 23rd, 2022, and welcome to the show, whether that's on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit the like and the share. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe. It would be much, much appreciated. The NFL is finally alive, huh? We got some things happening around the world of the National Football League, like the Cleveland Browns signing, or re-signing, Jadeveon Clowney. A specific quarterback is on a move, I guess, to a new home. Where is that home? We'll talk about that briefly in the next couple of minutes. Also, we already know that the Hard Knocks training camp version will be hosting the Detroit Lions. So next up is, well, what's going to happen with the Hard Knocks in season? Last year we had the Colts where, they were started at, 3-5 or whatever, beginning of the season or something like that. And then all of a sudden in season, Hard Knocks came about and the Colts made an absolute miraculous run all the way up until that last game where all they needed to do was beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Couldn't get it done, okay? Season ends. And now we're into a new season. So what is the Hard Knocks in season, or who is the Hard Knocks in season going to cover this year? It's a pretty good team. Okay? That's all I got to say. Pretty good team that we're looking forward to watching, because last year, and let's be honest, I've watched quite a few training camps or Hard Knocks training camps. The in-season last year, the inaugural start of that or whatever, absolutely blew the training camps out of the water, so I cannot wait for this one this season. So we'll talk about that as well. And last but not least, a stadium has been quite atrocious as of late. Actually, a couple seasons now. Might be finding a new home. What team is that? Well, that's the Commanders. We'll talk about that to finish the show today. Couple things to dive into. So with that being said, are you ready to get your fix? So as we learned late last week, actually I believe it might have been Saturday or whatever the case may be, late Friday, Saturday morning, whatever the case was, the Browns are re-signing defensive end Jadeveon Clowney. They are doing so on a one-year deal worth $11 million. Now, Jadeveon Clowney is coming off a 9-sack season last year with the Cleveland Browns, where him and Myles Garrett were a force to be reckoned with. And honestly, as the offseason has kept creeping along, basically, and Jadeveon Clowney was still a free agent, there really wasn't another place that I could have figured that he would have went, right? I just couldn't imagine him somewhere else in the National Football League. Granted, there are many, many places that could use Clowney's help, some of which he already played on once a brief time ago, right? The Seattle Seahawks he played with, the Tennessee Titans he played with, started his career out with the Houston Texans. He's kind of bounced all over the place. There are still other teams out there that could have used his help. Most of those teams, though, got that help via the draft this year. There was a buttload, a fuck ton of defensive ends in this year's draft. Aiden Hutchinson being one of them, Trayvon Walker going number 1 overall, another one. There was multiple ones that teams ended up kind of upgrading at that position. So right after that, it was kind of like, okay, well, where does Jadeveon end up? Okay, we can look at and start naming all these other teams, and it's just like, well, I think the perfect fit for Jadeveon Clowney would be the Cleveland Browns because he's been there for a year, did pretty stellar, okay, pretty okay, 9 sacks, can't ask for much more than that, okay, he did his job. He knows the playbook, he has the chemistry built there, and why not run it again for one more season when if you go to, say, another team in which I guess, he turned down multiple $14 to $15 million per year offers from other teams for multi-year contracts, you might not have the same type of success that you would if you stay with Cleveland. So in the end, he signs a 1-year, $11 million contract with the Cleveland Browns. I like it, okay? It helps that defense out just that much more, especially with the new and improved offense of Amari Cooper, Deshaun Watson. They still have that backfield with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. This team, look, they don't win their division this year. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough down the road, but I have high hopes for the Cleveland Browns team and their fans that they're going to start seeing some success over there. Okay, sorry about it, but Baker just didn't cut it. Okay, it's just how the cookie crumbles, and the cookie crumbled in the wrong direction for him, and might be the right direction for the Cleveland Browns organization and their fans with landing Deshaun Watson. Hopefully he doesn't get suspended, but if he does, I'm sure it'll be a handful of games, okay, whether that's 4 games, 6 games, or 8 games, or a whole season. I doubt it's going to be the whole season because it is civil cases, and who knows if the NFL can actually figure stuff out and get enough evidence for all of them or for any of them. It's just a situation that we'll just kind of keep monitoring, okay, and just kind of keep an open mind with, basically, until we hear the full extent of the suspension and what actually happened that the NFL found evidence. And what it seems like is that there really is no timetable for this. Like the NFL is going to continue to investigate this until they feel like they have enough evidence or enough stuff to go around where they can be like, okay, let's make a decision now. Okay, let's suspend him or let's wait to suspend him. And honestly, hey, he could play this entire season, and then next year is when his suspension comes. That could be the possibility. That could end up being what happens with Deshaun Watson. But the Cleveland Browns, that team, I think they're headed in the right direction. They have all the right pieces in the right places. Okay, the second highest paid corner in Denzel Ward. They have young guys in their secondary, and now you lock up Jadeveon Clowney to pair with Myles Garrett for yet another season, and I cannot wait to see what the Cleveland Browns have in store for us this upcoming season. Speaking of this season, we have figured out who the Hard Knocks training camp is going to be. That is going to be the Detroit Lions. That piece of information came out about a month ago or a month and a half ago, whatever the case is. And I'm excited for that one, as much as I am for the in-season one. Maybe not as much as the in-season one, because this one's going to be awesome. But the Detroit Lions one is going to be fun to watch because we get to see Motor City Dan Campbell, MCDC, really, start talking about biting kneecaps off and adding, fuel to the fire, man, and just all that type of fun stuff. I cannot wait to see what kind of energy he brings around and what his language is like, and just everything about it's going to be intriguing to watch. And even better yet, they get to play or practice a couple times with the Colts in Indianapolis or whatever, so the Hard Knocks will be there during that little time. It's going to be fun to watch that. But even better, a program that I cannot wait to watch even more than the training camp one. Hard Knocks in season will feature the Arizona Cardinals. I'm pumped for this one. This one is so exciting because last year we had the Indianapolis Colts. Okay, their season started off a bit rocky. Once the in-season Hard Knocks started, their season completely did a 180. They started winning ball games. They got all the way to the last 2 games where all they had to do was win. In the end, they did not. Okay, season failed. But during that in-season, we get to see a little bit of how the operation works behind the scenes, behind the closed doors. What we normally don't get to see, we got to see like the meetings, right? The motivational speakers, like Frank Reich talking to his team. position coaches talking to their team, leaders of the team, like captains of the team starting to speak up and go about their business. Star players like Jonathan Taylor, a Kenny Moore, a Carson Wentz start talking a little bit. Carson Wentz obviously not there. He's a Commander. We'll get to the Commanders here in just a little bit. But I think Hard Knocks does a good job of actually giving the audience, giving the fans of not only that team of the National Football League a little deeper inside look of what actually happens behind closed doors, what we normally don't get to see, all the work and the effort that's actually put in, so that we have the privilege of getting to watch them every single Thursday, Sunday, and Monday when they go out there and try to win ball games for their fans and for their organization and stuff like that. Hard work really does pays off for these guys, pays off for these guys, and we get to see that front and center. And we got to see last year with Darius Leonard. He injured his ankle. He found a way to overcome it, right? The first couple days, sore as shit. By the fourth day, he was ready to rock and roll, had all those ice baths done, and helping the healing process basically with that, and he was able to go out there and perform. And then obviously after he'd have a game, it'd be another 3 days of nothing but pain and suffering, and then the fourth day would hit and he'd be just fine. Okay, here we go, now we're moving, now we go, okay, now we play another ball game and we just start the whole same process over. But this year is the Arizona Cardinals. A team that started their season 7-0 last year and then lose to the Green Bay Packers in a game in which I called 2 weeks prior. They still go on to have a pretty decent season. Okay, I believe they got the number 2 seed. They ended up, losing in the first round of the playoffs. But their season obviously took a major hit when DeAndre Hopkins suffered a hamstring injury, and it just never seemed to get better the rest of the year, basically. James Conner, we quickly found out that he's a guy, okay? He could run the ball. He scores touchdowns for the Arizona Cardinals. Probably one of their better running backs since David Johnson had his prime and then tore his ACL, and now he's using all that stuff, okay? James Conner's a dude. The wide receiver room, though, this year, right? Pumped for this. Rondale Moore, okay? DeAndre Hopkins. AJ Green. Yeah, Kyler Murray. Okay, he's not going to report to OTAs, but he doesn't fucking have to. Okay? Nobody does. They're voluntary. Everyone looks at, he's not reporting. Maybe he doesn't want to be with the team as like a serious situation. No, because he knows what's best for his body. He knows what to actually go out there and do. That's better for him, basically. I don't know. But on the defense side of things, Budda Baker. Okay? You got Budda Baker, Isaiah Simmons, J.J. Watt. Okay? Their defense is flying around making plays, and we get to watch them during Hard Knocks in season. It's going to be electrifying. I cannot wait to see what this team brings to the entertainment side of things, because if they start off a really good year, right, going 7-0 again, then we get to start off with that, and we get to see kind of the downfall of the Arizona Cardinals, because like John mentioned multiple times, and if you don't know who John is, he's a guest host here on basically whenever he's available. But he said last year when they went on this winning streak, right, he was like, they got to lose at some point, right? Like it's the Cardinals. They never really do this, and when they do, you expect them to lose and lose in a big way. They end up doing so in Week 8 to Green Bay. Okay? The Cardinals are a good team. They're a well-put-together organization. Okay? They always seem to be right in the middle of the pack, and all of a sudden, every once in a while, being towards the top of the pack. Okay? They're going to make the playoffs every now and then. When they don't, they really don't. Okay? They're in the middle of the pack. Stuff like that. I mean, they have a hard-ass division with the Rams, the 49ers, the Seahawks. Not so much anymore after getting rid of Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson. But the Cardinals I think they've really built their team up to, built that foundation of the team to be like a playoff team year in and year out. And to watch them during the in-season Hard Knocks, it's going to be really fun, because last year, I learned this piece of information out via the Pat McAfee show. One of the guys that actually, oversees the Hard Knocks in-season stuff, and actually he's like the director. I don't even know. He's not the director, but he's like one of the main overseers of the whole production, basically. Said they were prepared to go as far as the Colts did for their season. So if the Colts make the playoffs, Hard Knocks in-season still follows them. They go all the way to the Super Bowl, they're still following them. So the Arizona Cardinals, if they go on a run, okay, if they go on a really good run, they make the playoffs, they go further into the playoffs, potentially Super Bowl, because we don't know yet, okay, it's way too early to tell who's going to make the Super Bowl, they're going to follow them. I think that's going to be awesome, that's going to be electrifying, because who knows what actually happens behind closed doors during playoff weeks. And I think that's going to be a lot tougher to do because you don't want things or information to get out to other teams of how you're going about your business and what plays you're running and all this, all those little stuff, all the little things that, you kind of get nervous about. Like, I don't want this piece of paper leaving this office because you never know who's on the outside, all right? So we'll just kind of keep that towards us, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. That, I think last year's they started airing them like early November. So it'll be a little while. We got ways to go before this happens. But in-season Cardinals will start sometime around then, I guess. But the Hard Knocks training camp will begin Thursday, August 9th, I believe is a Thursday. I just remember it said August 9th, but I believe it's a Thursday. No, it's a Tuesday, okay? Got the T's in there. Forgot the name. But Tuesday, August 9th is when that will start, the training camp one for the Detroit Lions. That is going to be in about a little over 2 months. So I'm pumped for that as well. We get to see more content surrounding the NFL. So, hey, anything for more content, right? Moving forward, the Indianapolis Colts, like we just got done talking about, who are the in-season, inaugural season for Hard Knocks, basically, have officially signed a backup quarterback. They have signed Nick Foles to a 2-year deal. Now, if you don't know, Nick Foles was formerly a Chicago Bear. He was brought over to that organization basically to serve as a backup if Justin Fields didn't pan out. So the Bears last year, they get Andy Dalton. He's their starter. Okay, let's bring in Nick Foles. He's probably going to be our backup. Then they draft Justin Fields. So Justin Fields, Nick Foles kind of share the same number 2 role. Okay, who's gonna be the number 2 guy? Let's figure this out. Okay, let's move forward. But when you draft a quarterback as high as the Bears did, there's instant, like you just know instantaneously that you did that for a reason. Okay, you're gonna want to start that guy at some point, whether it's at the midway point of the season, whether that's next season. Whatever the case may be, he's the guy. Okay, he's the next one in line. So let's see what he has in training camp. Starts doing that whole thing. He takes over that number 2 role. Once Andy Dalton starts sucking, all right, let's flip-flop those two. Let's put Justin Fields in the game and give him a chance. He stole the show. He kept the job, and now he's the Bears quarterback. So Nick Foles was kind of left in the dust, but the Bears screwed up in a big, big way. Big way. I think they owe him like 3 or like fully guaranteed or like $30-some million like fully guaranteed or something like that. I cannot remember what the length of it. I know they owe him like 3 years of all of his contract and it's all guaranteed or something like that. So he signs probably a 2-year lower money deal with the Colts to be their backup behind a veteran Matt Ryan. So now you have 2 veterans, okay? Nick Foles, been to a Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots. Their starting quarterback, Matt Ryan, went to a Super Bowl, blew a 28-3-point lead to Tom fucking Brady. Okay? So, sorry about it, but Colts, your season already done and over with. All right? You might as well just put Nick Foles in there. Maybe he'll do the best job possible, but no. Matt Ryan's better, in my opinion. But it's a good signing, I think, for the Colts because it gives them security. It gives them another veteran in their locker room to kind of mold a lot of these young guys, like how they want to play how they want to play the game. Basically, get them to learn the playbook a little bit easier, even though Nick Foles doesn't know the playbook all that well yet. But I think with you getting these veteran guys in, these guys that have been around the league for quite some time, it helps not only with the chemistry aspect of it, but also the locker room aspect of it, and kind of getting guys engaged and talking and doing all that sort of fun stuff. So good for Nick Foles, good for the Colts. I think they needed this because they really didn't have it. But also, where's the wide receivers? Okay, let's fucking sign a wide receiver before we worry about a goddamn back quarterback. All right, Julio Jones still on the fucking market. I don't know what you need to do, but you need to figure it out how to sign Julio Jones. Okay, bring in Julio Jones. Great chemistry with Matt Ryan. They were together in Atlanta. All right, we know that. He's probably cheap as shit because the dude only had like 434 receiving yards, no touchdowns last season. Okay, I've said it the last 2 years or my whole entire time doing this. Julio Jones can move the ball downfield. He'll never score you a touchdown. Okay, at best he's getting 8 a year. At best. So go out and sign Julio Jones. I mean, you need a wide receiver. If you think you're going to go this entire season with Michael Pittman Jr. as your lone guy, good fucking luck, because it ain't going to work out. At least that's what I'm believing. Okay? It just won't work out. You need at least 2 guys. And why not bring in a veteran, a leader, a guy who's played with Matt Ryan in the past, and Julio Jones? Sign him to a 1-year fucking deal, $10 million, or whatever the veteran minimum is. Just get it done, okay? That would make your team that much better, that much more poised for a playoff run, that much more poised not to go into Duval City, Jacksonville, Florida, and lose to Clanton, okay? I mean, what are we doing? 4.4 QBR by fucking Carson Wentz. Jesus Christ. So the Colts lock up another quarterback, and last but not least, the Commanders. Well, they've been at the forefront of quite some not so good stuff for the past couple months. Actually, quite a few months. We go back into the season. Okay, let's go all the way back into their season. At the start of the season, they had poop pipes bursting on literally every fan in the stadium, okay? Gross. They had it happen multiple times, multiple instances, in the fact that even FIFA decided, we're not playing in that field. We'll go play down in Baltimore, okay? We'll go play on the Ravens field rather than we're going to play in D.C. on the Commanders field. Just won't do it, okay? We truckle on a little bit further. The Eagles come to town. The Eagles beat the dog shit out of the Commanders. And as Jalen Hurts is trotting back to the locker room, the fans are getting a little antsy. And whoa-bam! The railing damn near ended Jalen Hurts' career. It came undone. Don't know what happened. Maybe it was zip-tied. Maybe it was bolted. Those bolts probably rusted. I don't know what the hell happened. But it fucking fell right probably a foot in front, maybe 6 inches in front of Jalen Hurts. Okay, if that takes 2 more seconds to fall, Jalen Hurts, knee's donezo. Okay, we know that. That's just, it's a sad situation. So they fixed it by putting some zip ties back on it. All right, held it up. Probably kept fans about a foot away from it. Hey, you can't be here. Okay, probably had security guards probably guarding the place. Like the Best Buy security guards trying to tackle the thieves and shit like that. The videos are electrifying, okay, if you haven't watched it. Those guys are 5-star recruits out there looking for a job, all right? So, but the Commanders, after those 2 situations, they go into the offseason. Well, I guess there's more situations before that during the season with a bunch of emails and stuff. The FBI basically went through 650,000 emails, okay? And to basically uncover some workplace misconduct that was said to be had by the front office, that being Dan Snyder and his whole crew. So there was that. It led to John Gruden getting fired. And you go to the off season. Well, old buddy Dan Snyder was said that he was said to have 2 sets of books for his revenues, which, illegal, okay? Very illegal. Owes their ticket holders, or season ticket holders, a lot of fucking money, okay? Probably will never see that again. He was putting prices or saying prices were this much money when really they were this much money. So, like, I think he said they were like, well, this ticket's $55, but in reality, the ticket was only $44. So they were making like $11 extra and putting that towards something else, naming it as like, oh, this was for this event, not the NFL event. So blah, blah, blah. You get it. They're fucking up. They're committing fraud. And now they're going to have a vote. After all this shit's going down, and there's still some more stuff that I didn't even mention that I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a lot. If you want to know about it, we'll dive into it a whole episode, okay, or a whole show, a whole day. But there's going to be a vote. I'm not sure when, maybe in the coming weeks or something like that, to potentially vote out Dan Snyder as owner of the Washington Commanders. Now, it's never been done in the history of the National Football League. I believe it's been tried, but it has never actually happened. They need 24 votes. 24 of the 32 votes to get his ass out of town. Most likely, probably will happen, okay? Just from looking from the outside in, what he's been doing, how he's been conducting his business, probably not the best thing for the NFL. They'll figure it out. They always do. And hopefully they'll make the right choice at the end. But the Commanders might be making their own right choice. The Commanders have spent $100 million on a piece of land in Virginia. So does this mean the Commanders are finally leaving their piss poor, poop pipe bursting, railing breaking, fraud giving stadium and moving out of town and finally upgrading? I believe so, folks, from what has been said and what I have kind of read and looked at, is basically, and we're definitely going to be seeing a new stadium. It's going to be like basically a resort, like basically how every NFL team is kind of conducting their business now. You have Patriots Way in New England. The Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones owns literally like every hotel around it. In Vegas, right? They have the hotels. They share a part of revenue I believe with them, the casinos and stuff. So basically what this is all going to entail is they'll have their football field there. They'll have their practice and training facilities there, and their sport performance facilities, whatever you want to say. They'll have their little like hotels and like maybe casinos and stuff like that. So it's basically like a little resort away from the rest of the area where they can actually make more revenue than they would if they just had the stadium there and just got the revenue off ticket sales and concession stands and stuff like that. So I'm pumped for this because they need a new stadium. They need it badly. They just got new branding. Who knows if it'll change, right? If they're moving to Virginia, you got to suspect Virginia Commanders, okay? We have the VC, all right? Oh, never mind. I don't think that's... Oh, VC. Hey, VC, that's some good coinage there. I believe VC is on 2K, okay? NBA 2K. You know, cross them up, hit the three, step back. You get it, okay? But the Virginia Commanders... rolls out the tongue, pretty cool, but I think we got to keep the Washington Commanders. I'm sure they'll figure that out because, let's be honest, the New York Jets and the New York Giants should be the New Jersey Jets and the New Jersey Giants, just because, I mean, they're New Jersey, New Rutherford or something like that. I don't fucking know. They're in New Jersey, okay? That's all you need to know. So I'm sure they'll figure it out, but, I mean, this stadium, at first glance, this was first reported by John Keim on Twitter and has been since retweeted and kind of shared about the Twitterverse by Adam Schefter and others alike. But I mean, at first glance, if this is what the stadium's going to look like, I mean, we'll show you, okay? I mean, this is just absolute. Look at this shit. I mean, doesn't get much better than this, folks. Kind of reminds you of SoFi a little bit. Gives you the vibe of that futuristic type of, stadium out there. Makes you want to, watch some fucking football. Makes you actually want to be a Commanders fan after all this shit that's been kind of happening. Makes you want to invest a little bit, right? I like that. If that stadium's going to be like that, woo! Apparently what it's going to be, too, is going to be, like, transparent on the top. And, like, they'll be able to, like, change the colors of it. It'll be, like, white during the day or something like that. And, like, burgundy at night or whatever the case may be. I mean, if that's what the stadium is going to look like, I'm all for it. They need a new one, and they need it badly. Spent $100 million on a piece of land in Virginia. Could it be a new stadium? Could it be a whole new little resort for their stadium, their sports performance facilities, their training facilities, all that type of nonsense, hotels, casinos, stuff like that, water parks, you get it, okay? Could that be the new case? We don't know. As soon as it develops even more and further, we will be reporting it. Promise you that, because, I mean, I'm pumped for it. I would love to see this stadium as much as I would love to go to all the newer ones as well, okay? Go to Allegiant Stadium, go to Mercedes, you get it, all right? But for that, that's all we got for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining, whether that's on Facebook. And if you're on Facebook, hit the like and the share. And whether that's on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe. It'd be much, much appreciated. Hopefully, this week brings us more and more information, because the NFL has been quite dead for quite some time. Would like it to start taking up some steam, start gaining some traction, and hopefully some free agents finding new homes, like a Julio Jones going to the Indianapolis Colts. Maybe like a OBJ going to the Green Bay Packers or the New England Patriots, potentially, right? A lot of stuff still needs to happen. It'll unfold, okay, within time, within due time, obviously. But until then, enjoy the rest of your night. Stay safe out there. Enjoy the weather while we have it. We'll be back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Time, like always, folks. And you just got your fix with a Wicks. Deuces.